Alright, what is going on, guys? I'm back. I finished university for Christmas, so I've got a bit more free time. And speaking of Christmas, my Secret Santa fucking nailed it. Seriously, you've got to see this. Short version is they own a sports nutrition store, right, of all the luck in the world. So I have got so many samples and shit sitting right here. I'm going to take you through all of them. I'm genuinely excited about all of it. And then we're going to go on bench, which I think everyone is excited about all the time. So, gonna go through that today. Let's get started. Okay, starting off with pre-workouts because I love pre-workouts. I make no secret of that. And an old staple, C4. 2 lots of C4. So I've got a icy blue raz and a strawberry margarita. And I've never tried the blue raz one at all, but I've heard really, really good things about the strawberry margarita one. I've always tried the fruit punch one in the past, so it's gonna be interesting to see if it really does live up to the hype anyway, this margarita one. But yeah, for those of you uninitiated, C4 is, I think it's 160 grams of caffeine in a serve. It's got 1.6 grams of beta-alanine. It's a fairly standard pre-workout for people that are looking to get a bit of energy and get a bit of a pump as well. There's definitely some arginine AKG in there. So it's a pretty good staple one. And I don't know, it gets criticisms, it gets its praise. For me, there's a bit too much beta-alanine in there. I really like the amount of energy that I get from it, but I'm quite sensitive to the whole sort of skin on fire thing. And honestly, like when I take other pre-workouts that have only got sort of 1.5 or 1.4 grams of beta-alanine per scoop, it's less of a dose, obviously, so you do feel less of the effects, but it means that I don't want to pull the skin off my face because there's not that sort of more than 3 grams in there. And for me, that is genuinely a plus point. So as much as I love C4, don't take it all the time anymore. Alright, next one is C4 Ripped. So basically, this is the same as the standard C4, except you lose the creatine nitrate, so you won't get so much of a pump, but you will have a gram per scoop of the extra C4 Ripped blend, is what they're calling it. And the general idea of that one is it's made up of things like, hang on, I've got them written down, they're not on the sample. So it's things like L-carnitine tartrate, green coffee bean extract, and capsicum as well? Yeah, Capsicum Max. So, general idea is that it's things that are meant to help you burn more fat, and obviously when you're in a cutting phase, the guys at Cellucor would rather you took this one. They think you'll get more out of it. Again, it's nothing I've ever tried because I've never really been in a cutting phase since I started using pre-workouts. And given that I'm not the hugest fan of the original C4, I'm not sure it will be my go-to, but maybe one day. I'll see how this one works out for me. Next one. Okay, next one we're looking at is the Curse from Cobra Labs, who I've never actually heard of before. They ring a bell from somewhere, but I've never considered their supplements or bought any of them, definitely. But this is a pretty standard one. You know, it's 1.6 grams of beta-alanine, there's a gram of creatine in there. It's got 300 milligrams of arginine AKG and 700 grams of L-citrulline, which is a good thing because really citrulline has replaced arginine AKG in being the most popular for its effectiveness, not just for hype, pump enhancer within pre-workouts. So the fact that we're getting more of that new ingredient and less of the one that, to be honest, is starting to be phased out, except with the exception of C4, who seem to be sticking by it. So it's a good thing. We've also got 155 milligrams of caffeine, obviously, and then we've got 2 milligrams of olive leaf extract, which I've never really seen used before, but hey, I'm gonna take these, I think 2 at a time, because I really do like to get above the 300 milligrams of caffeine in my pre-workouts. Like I said, I normally take Hyde, which is 400 in 1 scoop, so naturally I do just take the 1 scoop of that. But yeah, I'll take a couple of these at a time, and I'll see how that gets on for me. I've got 2 blue raz, a lemon rush, and a green apple, so not sure how I'm gonna mix those together, but it'll be chill. It's 2 seconds, isn't it? Next one. Okay, next thing we're gonna look at is this. It's a Lipo6 from Nutrex, and it's a fat burner pill, essentially. Now, I wanna say right out of the gate that I'm not sure I'd really get too much out of this, even if I was in a cutting phase, because it's one of them, you know? You're gonna take it once and you're gonna get maybe boosted metabolism for maybe half a day, or maybe a full day. But after that, you're not really gonna bother, you know? You generally take these things in multiple doses per day, and you're not even necessarily taking 1 pill at a time. With that said, I have noticed that it's got 200 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous in there. I'm thinking, use it as a pre-workout. I'll take a scoop of something. I'll probably take the sachet of C4 Ripped, and then I'll take this and see if I really do take anything away from that. See if I can get any sort of difference in the way that things feel, because this again does have that capsicum in there. So similar fat burning ingredients going on in either one. It's got 100 milligrams of chromium, which I've actually never encountered before. And again, it's got like 200 milligrams of caffeine. I'm thinking this one, use it as a pre-workout with the C4 Rip, just so I feel a difference. And if I decide to get into fat burners, I'll do it later. I'll do it later on when I'm actually cutting, which will come after the Christmas period. So we'll see. Next. So, gonna move into all the proteins now. Starting off with a little sachet of BCAAs that I've got here. It's called BCAA Sensation, and underneath here it says, I don't know if you can see that, it says, try before you die. So, I'm intrigued. But basically, it's a standard BCAA split. It's very unusual numbers, but in terms of leucine, isoleucine, and valine, it looks to be a 4-1-1 split. We've got 1,739 milligrams of leucine, and then we've got 435 of isoleucine and valine. So for the uninitiated, the idea of BCAAs is that obviously they're an amino acid, and amino acids are what make up proteins. So that in itself is something that it's always good to have more of. The bro science, the theory, is that you've got more pre-broken down proteins in your system, so your body can get back to recovering faster. That much isn't completely confirmed really by the science yet. It's kind of disputed, so I'm not going to preach it too much. But what is definitely confirmed is that it improves your body's ability at the rate at which it can recover, and it improves how much muscle you can actually generate when you're in a gaining phase, but really they're more for when you're in a cutting phase, in my own opinion, definitely, because they actually reduce your body's rate of metabolizing muscle, the rate at which it gets broken down, and it reduces fatigue in workouts as well, because BCAAs actually in the brain can impact on something called tryptophan. Tryptophan is basically a hormone that is what tells your body to feel fatigued, and basically BCAAs, they compete with it. They stop it from doing what it's trying to do, and so you don't feel as tired because your brain isn't being told that it's tired. You got more energy, you get better workouts. So again, I'm probably going to hang on to this one maybe for until I'm cutting, but we'll see. I don't know. Again, it's one scoop, and at the end of the day, a lot of really good whey proteins have 5 grams of BCAAs in them anyway. So if you're taking a scoop of whey protein a day, you don't necessarily need to double that up with BCAAs unless you're planning on taking, 10 or 15 grams of that a day, which isn't uncommon, but something you've got to be mindful of, definitely. Next. Okay, so next we've got a couple of Oh Yeah bars. So these are a competitor to Quest, essentially. They're not quite as macronutritionally kind of protein-centric as Quest bars are. I think in one of these, I'm not sure what this actually weighs, 25 grams, there we go. And in there, you've got 9 grams of protein, 9 grams of carbs, one of which comes from sugar, and then you've got, I think, 3.5 grams of fat. So it's not something where if you were trying to put your protein intake through the roof and stay lean as well, it's not something you would take as a protein source when you were cutting, is what I'm saying, because there's a few too many carbs in there for that, I think. But in terms of taking it as a snack of day to day, absolutely, don't see why not. I've got a peanut butter pie one, and I've got a birthday cake one, which I guess must be becoming a more popular flavour now, since Optimum did the birthday cake whey for their anniversary this year. But we'll get to Optimum as well. I've got something really fucking cool for the 30th anniversary from this person. But anyway, I'm probably just going to eat these whenever, to be honest. And if they're good, I'll consider them as an alternative to Quest. But then I don't really buy Quest, so it's not something I'm going to suddenly start preaching to everyone. Next I've got Myofusion Advanced Protein from Gaspari. And this looks pretty good to me. It's a 32 gram bag, and you get 25 grams of protein in there. So it's not the leanest mixture in the world, but it looks pretty good. It's got 5.3 grams of BCAAs in there, 2.5 grams of which are from, I think it's leucine and not isoleucine. I was right. And then you got 1.4 grams each of isoleucine and valine to make your full 5.3. But yeah, it looks like a fairly standard protein. Obviously, like I say, it's not as lean, but it is gluten-free for those of you that have those dietary requirements. And I've got a banana one, I've got a strawberry one, and I've got a chocolate one. So the real staple flavors here. This will put a smile on most faces, I think. Next thing is I've got 2 sachets of Mutant Isosurge. So this is more weight. This one is a 32 gram pack, and again you get 25 grams of protein in there. You've got no amino acid split on here, so I can't talk about the BCAAs. Like, I'm scanning the packet here as I read it. I've looked already today, not seen it anywhere. But at any rate, you've got 25 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fats. So it is a much leaner mixture. There's just some superfluous things in there, like thickeners and stuff like that, that are making up the extra sort of 7 grams after the 25 grams of protein anyway. It's the brand that actually used to sponsor Rich Piana, Mutant, before he started his own 5% brand. And while he is not an athlete I would compare to myself in terms of the way that we train or diet or the fact that he's very openly on a lot of steroids and I'm not. So, you know, I'm not going to say that this is going to have the effect on me that it had on him, but he always seemed to make them look like they tasted really fucking good. So even just for that, I'm looking forward to trying this and the coconut cream one I've got as well. Oh, and this is fudge brownie because I didn't say that. But anyway, yeah, Mutant. It's pretty fun and it looks, even the packet makes it look like it tastes good, which is, I don't know, I hear a lot of mixed opinions about that, but for the sake of a sample, I'm not gonna get all philosophical about it. Next! Okay, next is Whey DNA from BSN. Now, if we're gonna talk about people that have been sponsored by a brand, BSN, of course, sponsored Ronnie Coleman, who, depending on the kind of physique you like, is the greatest bodybuilder of all time. Personally, I think he was the greatest competitor of all time. I don't think there's anyone that could have held a candle to him most of the time. But Arnold did more for the sport. He's the greatest of all time in a different sense. And if the two of them stood on stage together, that's a no-win. You can't compare those physiques. But you're going to roast me in the comment section for my opinions anyway, so off you go. Anyway, this is a 34 gram sachet. It's got 25 grams of protein in there. It's got 3.5 grams of carbs, of which 3.2 grams come from sugar. So I'm expecting this to be really, really sweet. And fats, I've forgotten, 2.4 grams. So again, it's not the leanest mixture in the world, but I'd say it's comparable to most of them apart from the pure isolates and stuff like that. I've got a chocolate one and a vanilla one, so again, staple flavors, but I'm looking forward to trying them and seeing what happens. Next, this is the one that I'm gonna get. I don't even have to, I've got my laptop just here and I've been looking at the stats for the stuff I've never used before to make sure I'm getting it right for you guys. But this one, I don't even need to look because this is Optimum Double Rich Gold Standard Whey. Double Rich Chocolate, to finish the sentence that I didn't start earlier. I'm too excited about this. I honestly think that I haven't used any whey other than Optimum for about a year now. My brother bought me some last year for Christmas, and then I ended up getting another tub on sale somewhere, and I think I ran out in that other video. The last video that I made actually is when I ran out. And so, yeah, basically, I love this shit. This has been my bread and butter for the best part of 11 months. I think that it is the shit. And the Double Rich Chocolate is by far the best one as well, in my own opinion. I had a bad experience with Optimum actually, where I got one of their limited edition flavors, and I'm gonna give my honest opinion. I don't think it was ready, and I don't think they should have brought it out yet, because the bottom line is that it didn't mix right. And so I went through, £5 in a tub of this entire tub of Optimum Whey that I took, and I just thought, what's all the fucking hype about? Seriously, people rave about this stuff and I can't even get it to mix right. And I tried using too much water, I tried using less water. I thought that you had to have a blender or something, and I kind of got a bit disappointed. But then I opened up the Double Rich Chocolate one, and it was so fine, you could bake with it. It was incredible. And from that moment on, I was just totally sold on Optimum, and I understood everything that I previously doubted. But anyway, Optimum consider a serving to be 31 grams, and you're still getting 24 grams of protein in there, so definitely the leanest mixture we've seen so far in terms of its actual, how much protein you're getting per scoop. It's got 5.5 grams of BCAAs in there, so like I said earlier, a lot of the time you will have enough BCAAs in your scoop of whey that if you are taking a scoop of whey every day and you only want 5 grams of BCAAs, you don't have to supplement with additional stuff. A lot of people do because they want 10 or 15 grams, but again, that's up to you. And in my excitement, I'm actually gonna have to go back on my words. I've forgotten the macros. So carbs are 1.8 grams, of which 1.2 are from sugar. And then we've got 1.1 grams of fat in there. But there's still actually, I was talking about expecting the BSN to be really sweet. These ones actually taste incredible as they are. So I don't think there's such an issue in there. Oh yeah, and there's 4 grams of glutamine and glutamic acid. And seriously, I've got an app that tells me when things come down in price on Amazon, and I've got one set up for about 4 different versions of the gold standard whey because I just think it's the shit. I love it. Anyway, next, last but not least, like I said, I know that I said something big came for me, something really cool for Optimum, and I know I did get a bit excited about the whey, but it wasn't that. What my Secret Santa got me was one of these. These are the stainless steel 30-year anniversary Optimum Nutrition gold standard shakers, and they are the fucking shit. They have a 25 fluid ounce capacity, which is nearly 750 mils. I'm sure you could squeeze a little bit in under the lid if you really wanted to get 750 mils, and you measure in a metric system like a real person. But seriously, it is the fucking shit. The thing I like about the metal shaker is, for one thing, you'll notice when you get inside of it that there's not really any sort of like harsh lips or anything like that. Often I've got a couple of plastic shakers where they're not round all the way around, they've got sort of like a flat bit either side. And I find that you get a little corner and things get stuck in it. And I might have spoken too soon because obviously these measurements are indented, maybe things will get in there, but I'm envisioning this being a lot easier to clean when I've actually taken whey out of it. But apart from all this stuff, like I said, I ran out of whey in November and I haven't taken any for a while. So I'll get back to you on that, maybe, if you care. And yeah, it's fairly standard shaker lid anyway, with the plastic in the top, because obviously if this was made of metal, I don't really think that would be ideal. But they get so cold. That's the thing I like about these. They get really, really cold because obviously they're made of metal. I'm not gonna teach you science right now, but I genuinely got really excited when I saw this. I really, really like it, and you know what? I nearly bought one for myself, but then I couldn't really justify the cost, and then this person decided to be an absolute gem and get one for me. So yeah, I reckon everything that goes in here is gonna come from this bag first of all, and yeah, let's go and bench. That's everything I got for Secret Santa. Wasn't it fucking good? I lied. Didn't film anything. The gym was really full, and I would have been getting in people's way if I'd filmed anything. Like, you've got to have somewhere to put your camera, right? And when the gym's that packed out, it's not worth it. You can see that it's winter, so it gets dark early, but it is getting dark. It's about 4:30 now, and I'm not about fucking other people's workouts out so that I can take footage of mine. That's not good. So next week I'm gonna bench. I'm gonna get up early. I'm gonna go to the gym when it's fucking dead, and I am gonna have some footage. So that's my mistake, man. You gotta hustle. Simple as. So a week later, I did make it to the gym, and this was my first hypertrophy workout for chest in months. So I just went through the motions to see what felt good, and I started off with a flat bench press. It was all 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, and I actually tried something new with my form here, or rather something old that I hadn't done for a while. So basically, I moved the bar closer up towards my collarbone, further away from where a powerlifter would have it, which is how I've been having it during strength training, and to be brutally honest, I didn't like it so much. It didn't activate as much of my chest for me, I didn't get as good of a pump, and you know, like I said, this workout was to see what works, so I'm not going to stick with that. I'm going to go back to the old way and see what happens. From this angle here, you can see that actually I had a little bit of an issue here with my form, where one arm was rising slightly faster than the other, and that is quite possibly a strength imbalance, but more likely the new form was just kind of screwing with me in ways that I didn't anticipate. So I'll go back to the old way, I'll film some of that, and you know, if that looks fine, then I don't have a problem. But that is one of the benefits of filming all of your training. If there is a problem, I immediately know what it is, I can look for it, I can find it, I can fix it. I recommend it to anyone. After this, I moved on to incline dumbbell presses on a bench, which I didn't actually get a chance to film, purely because, like I said, the gym was full. I don't like getting in the way of other people's workouts. That's not what I'm there to do. After that though, here we are. We are on a hammer strength chest press. This is the one I like to do after my dumbbell exercise because it carries on that same movement, but basically lets me pick up where I left off in terms of doing this once my triceps and shoulders start to weaken. Basically, the muscles that are responsible for stabilization as much as actually moving the weight start to falter a little bit. This obviously, being on a machine, has less stabilization to be done, so you can keep going, you can get a much better pump with it. I actually did 4 sets of this exercise, which means I have 3 sets worth of footage, because it felt good. And when something feels right in the gym, you should absolutely keep doing it. That's what is going to be the best for you. Obviously, if you're weak at something, then get stronger at it, but if it just doesn't feel right, then, you know, don't necessarily go through with it. Make sure your form is good, but if it's just not an exercise that works for you, well then don't live with the point too much. Everybody's different, and it's nothing that I personally would panic about. This for me just feels really good though. I get a good pump, and at the end of the day, that is what you're there to do. Form pointers on this one would be that you've got to make sure your shoulders, at some point during the footage, I think I might have missed it, I sort of make sure that, there it is, I make sure that my shoulders are pulled right down, because on the negative rep, it's easy to let them ride up, and that just changes the dynamics of the movement entirely. You've got to watch out for that to make sure that your form is good and you're not going to hurt yourself. Then I moved on to dumbbell pullovers, and this again is something I hadn't done in months, and so it was just me testing the waters really. To be honest, I had a good back workout the day before. That's probably not the best time to do it because this does involve a lot of your lats as well, and I found those tired before my chest. But regardless, I didn't really see the kind of response from my body that I really wanted to. so I'm not sure this is something I'm going to carry on doing. Form pointers for this one, you'll notice that I'm getting up to a 90-degree angle with my arms there, and then I'm stopping pretty much dead. The reason I do that is because any further, and all you're actually going to do is involve your front delts in getting that back to neutral before you go back down again. Anyway, the cable flies have started. I'm getting behind. This is a great finishing exercise for me. You know, at the end of the day, it's like I said earlier, when stabilization muscles start to fail, this is very chest intensive so long as you've got a bit of juice left in your front delts as well to help you through the movement. For me, I tend to do one last set at the end of quite a few more reps, sort of 15 to 18 reps with a lighter weight, just to get the best pump possible when I'm training for hypertrophy. One thing that I would really make sure to note in exercises like this is make sure to keep the same angle in your arms the whole way through. And I don't mean in terms of the actual curvature of it, I mean the angle in relation to your body, you know, whether it will be equivalent to an incline, a flat, a decline when you're on a bench. Because as the movement gets harder, it is tempting to angle your arms further down and do more of a decline kind of movement, because they're easier to do. Basically, your lower chest will often be more well developed and stronger than an upper chest movement because your shoulders come out of the equation and they are a weaker muscle group. So you're going to find that you will slip down if you let yourself, and you can screw yourself up. So that is the workout. Got loads more on the way, but in the meantime, watch me get a pump for the next couple of seconds, and I will see you all very soon. Let's get jacked.